Alright, boys and girls, we're back with another video. And this one is EB's, or English Bob's, reaction to Chris Titus's video on gaming distros. So here's my take on it. Something I already got a distinct feeling. I know EB, he's either going to be pounding for peppermint or he's going to be pounding for salient. I guess we'll find out.
Hi everybody, English Bob here. Welcome to today's video. Today is going to be my first rant video of 2020. And at the end of the video, I want you to post your comments and thoughts underneath the video on my feelings and my opinions and how I view this rant. Now, this is in no way a personal attack on anybody, so please don't perceive it or try to make it as such. This is purely an attack, if you want to call it that, on incorrect, not factual information. And I watched it today while I was at work, and it's really taught me a fresh one. And I felt I've got to respond to this in the only way I know how, and that's by doing a video. So please, this is EB reacts to Chris Titus's latest video. Which Linux distro should you use for gaming? Take it away, Chris.
Let's go over gaming distros today, because there's one thing I think when you first get into Linux, you're constantly bouncing around to different distributions, and I got curious on a live stream and said, hey, what is the best Linux gaming distribution out of the box? And
Okay, so you guys and girls can all go and watch the rest of Chris's video. Okay, Chris has just summed it up right there. What is the best Linux distro for gaming out of the box? Wow, I can't believe I've watched this video. Wow. Okay, so Chris's number one is Manjaro Linux. Manjaro Linux out of the box is a generic distribution. It is not specifically built from the ground up for gaming. His choice number two was Pop! OS. Pop! OS is a great distribution from System 76, but again, it's not specifically built from the ground up for gaming. And last but not least, the honourable mention that Chris gives is MX Linux. MX Linux is a fantastic distribution, but MX Linux is just as comfortable doing LibreOffice as it is running a game on Steam. Out of the box, it has not been designed from the ground up for gaming. So all three of Chris's choices are bullshit from the get-go. And this is what's wound me up something chronic. Because I could turn around and say, well, use Peppermint 10. Peppermint 10 is the best distro out the box for gaming. That statement is not only factually incorrect, it's utter bullshit. Because Peppermint OS 10 is a generic distribution. Just like Manjaro, just like Pop! OS, just like MX Linux. None of these distros have been built from the ground up for gaming. And I can't believe that somebody as big as Chris Titus has omitted the single distro that out of the box has had attention to detail and been built from the ground up for...
Okay, so I already know where EB's probably going with this. He's going to talk Salient, which, yes, it is built from the ground up for gaming. However, before EB, and before you get into your rant and your what the fuck and everything else, and I already know where this is going to go more than likely, there is another distro that is built at the ground up for gaming as well, and that's Drago OS. So, out of the box is relative. End user out of the box. The distros you're talking about are built more with a mentality of SteamOS with big picture mode. They're built with a more console appliance type mentality with it. I'm not saying you can't do other stuff on them, because even with SteamOS you can do other stuff on them. Yes, they have all the tools available, etc., to specifically focus on gaming, but that is no different than any specific distro that happens to be specific to music production or video production on Linux. It can still do other stuff. The default experience is what you're talking about. most end users who are doing PC gaming are not going to take a console mentality to it. Oh, anybody who's coming to Linux, to our platform, they're not going to understand all this crap. They don't care. They just need to know when I talk out of the box experience, I'm talking about ease of setting up for the end user. Literally, Pop! OS is download Lutris, download Wine, download Steam. Done. That's the experience that they're used to and that they understand. The other thing that I know you're going to say that, Salient and all the, like, I like Salient, I like Draugr, I like these distributions. But they are niche distros. See what happened to Solus when it revolves around one man or one person. It becomes a headache. I believe it's Void was the other one. I could be wrong on that one. But, there is a problem with relying on that as your primary. So I can and don't get it twisted. I do not agree with anything Chris TITUS says. And it's for a lot of different reasons, though. If you're talking out of the box in the everything's just gaming centric. No. The one out of the box for an end user is driver availability. Are the drivers already installed? There are certain base functions that matter, and that the this is where we will disagree. User experience. People who do PC gaming aren't looking for a console experience, a console-like experience. So things like Salient and things like Draugr are not going to float most people's boats, and that's okay. It's great for those that it does. But at the end of the day, it's ease of installing, familiarity to the user, that like the process and the familiarity is what matters more. That is UI, that is UX. That is real user experience. Again, I love the niche distros. I love the specific focus a lot of these distros have. But you cannot, in good conscience, talk about how these are distros for PC gamers. Because you have Super Game. There's a ton of other gaming specific distros. So are we just going to list all these distros and say, have at it? You can't do that. The whole point of PCs, personal computing, is to give them a starting point that is going to, and especially if they're new to the system that they're coming to or they're leaving and they're coming to a new one. That is where it matters. So installing drive. So while you view general purpose OSs, Linux distros, as shit choices, I would argue that I view them as the right choice. Because it's about familiarity. Because, again, PC gamers, we don't look at, is this gaming centric? A lot of the gaming aesthetic crap has gone away. A lot of the gaming focus specific shit has gone away, even in the Windows world. So I do take kind of issue with that. This and that distro is shit. I'm gonna take the mentality is any distro can be made a gaming distro. It's all up to the user on how and what that experience is. Just like in PC gaming, the whole point of PC gaming is you determine the experience. You want the latest and greatest, use an Arch-based distro, but understand the consequences of that. You want stability, use an Ubuntu or Debian-based distro. If you prefer more solid but kind of bleeding edge with the drivers and Mesa and all that stuff, maybe try Solus, maybe Fedora, maybe OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. Like, you can make any of these distributions gaming distributions, and out of the box is about user experience. And part of user experience is user familiarity to get around a system. Because the mentality when most people use a computer or a computing device, it's not appliance. They think, when they think appliance, they think, the washer, the dryer. That's an appliance to them. A console is not even really an appliance anymore. That's the point. So, I don't know if I dare let this video go on any longer because this has already gone on 11 minutes, but let's keep going. I'm probably just going to shut up.
For gaming on Linux. That distribution is, of course, Salient OS Linux, built and based off of Arch, and what separates it out from all these distros is that it has Lutris pre-installed, it has Wine pre-installed and configured, it has DXVK pre-installed and configured, it has DK9 pre-installed and configured, it has eSync pre-installed and configured. None of these fucking distros that this guy says are perfect for gaming has any of this work done. Now, you guys and girls, please let me know if you think I'm wrong, but this is the worst misinformed video I've seen in a long time. You can't go onto YouTube and say that Manjaro is the best distro for gaming without adding the caveat, but you're going to have to do a shit ton of work in order to get it into a gaming distro. Am I wrong? Out of the box, Manjaro is as generic as any other fucking distro. Salient OS Linux, built by Silent Robot, was specifically put together by Silent because he couldn't find a single distro out there that was built from the ground up for gamers, so he made it himself. I can't believe that somebody as big as Chris Titus has not heard of Salient OS Linux. That is absolutely mental. Chris, I'm calling you out on this one, buddy. If you watch this video, please do a response, because you are misinforming everybody, and when you could have just come out and said, which Linux distro should you use for gaming? In your words, OOB, out the box, all you needed to say was Salient. Thanks for watching, everybody. And you're done, Chris. I don't understand where all this misinformation's come from. Now, as I say, everybody, please post underneath this video your opinion. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think Chris is wrong? Do you not care? But nevertheless, like I said, there's going to be thousands of people watch Chris's video, and they're going to get misinformation right from the get-go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please rate, comment, subscribe, thumb the videos up or down. I will see you for another wicked English Bob video.
All right. I'm not disagreeing with you, EB. I just think Chris is wrong. That I'm going to state. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just going to say that if the problem is Jackass here is looking at general end consumer and mom pop dumbass who doesn't know, two-finger type shit. That's who his audience is. That's who he looks at for an audience. Good and bad goes with that. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna call his recommendation of Manjaro garbage, but that's because it's an Arch-based distro, not because it's Manjaro. Manjaro, for all its pluses, from a user experience, it is garbage. Pop OS, and I'm a Manjaro, and I actually use Endeavor OS right now. So like, I'm not blowing anybody's fucking dick here on this. It literally is the best out of the box general and consumer OS available on Linux, because it gives the people who want and need to worry about the customer support aspect that peace of mind. And that is a key thing, and it gives a user the user experience that they are somewhat or mostly familiar with from either mobile devices because of the App Store, and or they can simply type what they're looking for: Steam, Lutris, Wine. And they're okay with that because they're used to having a certain default predefined for them, regardless of it's Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever. There's a certain predefined nature that they're used to. What you're looking at, and I think where you're coming from, is you're viewing it as specifically an appliance point of view. And that's not how most, not all, but most PC gamers don't think. The whole aspect of PC gaming is for a lot of people that do it, is to determine the experience of the games that they play. So if they want to use a general OS, they'll use a general OS. If they want to use Salient, yes, use Salient. If they want to use Draugr, then use Draugr. There are Super Gamer, like take your fucking pick. There are other distros that are specifically built for gaming. Now, if you had said that because it's based on Arch, that it's always more up to date, more kernels, more Mesa, I'd give you that. But you're talking best out of the box experience. If you view your PC for gaming as a console, then yes. If you view it as every other end user who is going to view it, then the user experience of familiarity is going to be with Pop OS. That's just my take.